A dirty bar in Tulsa, sunglasses inside at night, and awful TV production. Now that's what I call wrestling. All right, everybody, welcome to Now That's What I Call Wrestling. My name is Kit Parsons, sometimes known as professional wrestler MAGNUM CK, and I guess I'm here in the MAGNUM CK cave. Edit that out. I guess I'm here. I guess I don't know why I'm here. Maybe I'm here because I want to say a lot of things. I want to watch wrestling with you. When I say I want to watch wrestling, I need to be more specific because I don't like to watch good wrestling. And listen, I know that sounds crazy, and I've certainly, can enjoy good wrestling, right? But I love bad wrestling. I love good bad wrestling, not like boring bad wrestling. Let me put it this way. I want to see guys falling down, but not on purpose. So I decided to start this show so we can go through some of this good bad wrestling together. And when I was thinking of where I could start, there's so much. If you just go on YouTube, there's so much good bad wrestling out there. Where could we start? Where's the most important place we could start? The granddaddy of them all. If we're going to start this show, if we're going to start Now That's What I Call Wrestling, we're going to start at the tippy top, the upper echelon. We're starting with the WWE. That's right, Tulsa's own World Wrestling Empire. It's kind of hard to find information on these guys. You might be surprised that a early to mid 90s fly-by-night wrestling federation from Tulsa, Oklahoma doesn't have a lot of information on the internet. I mean, we're talking about they didn't even have MySpace back then, right? I mean, if you wanted to tell somebody something or share something, you had to show them in person. That's crazy. So I don't know a lot about this wrestling federation. There are a lot of their videos on the internet, which means we can make a lot of episodes of this. Cha-ching. I should say a few things first. I don't think that I'm just kind of nobody, and I mean that to sound weird, but I've been a professional wrestler since 2004 or something. My uncle was a wrestler, so I guess I'm a second generation pro wrestler. I've been around it my whole life. The first match I went to, I was 4 or 5 or something, and I used to go to the wrestling matches all the time. I've watched it since I was 3. I've been obsessed with wrestling in one form or another for most of my life, for better or for worse, often times for worse. But I think I have a unique perspective because not only have I been a pro wrestler for a long time, but I'm also a performer. I've been an actor for almost 20 years. I've done tons of plays, musicals, film. I'm an award-winning filmmaker. I do comedy and improv. I studied comedy at the Second City Conservatory in Chicago. I basically perform somewhere multiple times a week. I mean, every weekend I'm somewhere else performing, whether it be wrestling, comedy, film. So I think I say all that to say that I have a unique perspective. And this is the only time I'll go in explaining all this because this is the first one. But I think that's all we need to know to get started, right? We're going to 1995-ish, 94 maybe, could be 96, Tulsa, Oklahoma for the WWE. Worth noting, they were the WWE before the WWE was the WWE. So I think it's a pretty important thing to mention that we're about to watch some trailblazing.
Please put your hands together and give a reaction to the action of the World Wrestling Empire.
Okay, right off the bat, first things first. I mentioned we're going to watch this together. Okay, which means I'm going to be pausing a lot. I'll have to watch the whole thing. I'll see the whole damn thing. So you only get to see the parts that I edit together. But I have to sit through this thing for a long time. So I'm going to stop it a lot. All right. I'm going to stop a lot. I'm going to start a lot. I guess technically I'm going to stop and start the same amount of times. I don't know how that works out mathematically. But I want to say, first of all, opening your show by begging the audience for a reaction.
Give a reaction to the action.
Is brilliant. It's brilliant. Why are we wasting our time? I'm an announcer. I want you to give a reaction to the action, which, first of all, no action has taken place that I know of. I mean, we just hit roll on the camera here. We got a TV show here. I haven't seen any action yet. But this ring announcer, who we're going to get to know very well, is requesting that the audience react to something that hasn't happened yet, which apparently most of them had to stop and think about because the reaction to the action is not very strong.
Want to welcome everybody to Brady Street Studios on a Saturday night. We've got a great card coming up.
Okay, all right, we have to look at these guys. We have to look at them. We have to analyze these guys because there is a 100% chance that both of these commentators are being played by the Little Rascals. Tell me that guy on the left is not three kids stacked up on top of each other inside of a trench coat. Tell me the guy on the left is not the Muppets trying to pretend to be a man so they can go to the bank and get a loan.
Let's turn it over to Jerry Silverado now for intro into the first match.
Jerry Silverado. If you showed me a picture of this guy and you said you have the rest of your life and unlimited guesses and you have to guess what this guy's name is, I would never get it. Jerry Silverado. I didn't know Silverado was an option. You can just make your last name Silverado. Because there's a 0% chance that's his real name, right? Like I'm not gonna burn any calories trying to look this up, but we have to assume that that's like a pseudonym, that's like a stage name. Jerry Silverado. And you're going with Silverado and you're going with Jerry. I actually kind of love it. So we get the beginning of the show and we're about to find out the name of the other announcer. He starts the show, immediately kicks it over to the other guy, and then goes to the ring because he's also the ring announcer.
Ledge is going to the ring right now.
Ledge. His name is Ledge. Jerry Silverado and Ledge. That's unbelievable. Also, why didn't Ledge just start in the ring? Like, he still could have opened the show and been like, hey, I'm Ledge. Welcome. Please, Jesus, please react. Thank you. Here we are at wrestling. Also, right over there, Jerry Silverado. Hi, Ledge. Right? I mean, like, we could have done that and we could have saved all this like back and forth from the beginning. If you tell me your name is Jerry Silverado, I have to assume that you're an adult film actor. I almost said star, but there's no chance you're a star.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing tonight's referee, Mr. Randy Rockman.
God. Poor Randy Rockman. So referees are important, but referees play a very important role, obviously. They're a character. They're part of the show. And typically at this level, when a referee is introduced, in my experience, if the referee is introduced at all, it's to a mostly tepid response. It's just kind of, unless they're like a local person or they've been around for a long time or whatever the case may be, it's not that noteworthy. It's usually a polite response. But in this case, we get referee Rockman, Mr. Rockman. I feel bad for him. He has to clap for himself because there's a worst case scenario that happens when he gets introduced, which is not that there's a bunch of boos. If a bunch of people started booing, I would figure like, okay, well, we're joining this kind of in media res, right? Like this referee has made some shady dealings with like the bad guy manager or who knows. No. He gets referee Rockman himself gets a smattering of half-hearted boos. Like people are just like, yeah. So far, bad. Off to a bad start, referee. Also, let's take a look at this referee because it is Casual Friday here at the WWE. He's got his Skechers on. He's got his dad painter jeans, and he's got the red referee t-shirt. But that t-shirt is tucked in because he knows that his grandma's watching. This is the big time. This is live to tape on Tulsa cable access. Mamie's watching.
Stepping into the ring first, standing 6 foot tall, weighing in at 240 pounds, from Singapore, Predator.
Stop. From Singapore, Predator. There's so much to unpack here. So first of all, if you're familiar at all with wrestling, big red flag as soon as we hear any other nation or culture mentioned, right? Because it's like traditionally in wrestling and maybe even now, it's choppy waters, right? Once we start introducing, so we heard from Singapore, which by the way, wildly broad and vague. From Singapore, Predator, not even the Predator. He is a predator. Well, he might be a predator. It's possible. From Singapore, Predator. And I'm going to guess, he hasn't come out yet, but I'm going to guess that From Singapore, Predator looks nothing like what that sounds like. Not only is he not going to be dressed in a way that would make me think like, whoa, Predator, man, like the movie, or like wow, this guy's, Predator Don Fry. This guy's a badass. No way. 0% chance that this guy looks like that. Also, from Singapore, right. This guy, I would guarantee you this guy has never been to Singapore, could not describe Singapore to you, could not tell you anything about Singapore, could not find it on a map. When From Singapore Predator comes out, it is most definitely going to look and possibly be from Tulsa Barry. Exactly. What did I say? Also, there's a cool thing that happens in this show. There's like plain clothes security. Like no one's wearing like security shirt. Like there's a guy who walks out in front of the wrestlers in a tie-dye shirt who is like absolutely twice the size of every wrestler he's leading to the ring. Like, and honestly, if security guard tie-dye guy would have gotten in the ring, I would have believed that he was from Singapore Predator more than from Singapore Predator that we actually get, who is in like the top half of a karate gi with like a tank top underneath of it, little booty shoes. And it's hard to tell because this is an old VHS rip. And speaking of rip, your pants, my guy, RIP. Because I thought they were pajamas at first, but they may very well be like chef pants. Like maybe From Singapore Predator is like a sous chef. It's real life. What are you doing this weekend, Barry? Let's say it involves being a predator. It's really amazing because we get so many brand placement things here. So every time we get a shot of the locker room, we get this bud. I can't tell what's at the top of this neon sign. It looks like a rosebud. Maybe this show is WWE's Rosebud moment. There's a Bud neon sign over top of a Pepsi machine, which makes the locker room look like it's in the break room of this bar. So like the guys like this, but the poor people who work here are probably like, man, I'm just trying to do my fucking shift, dude. Like I'm just trying to go to work, and I walk in and I've got From Singapore Predator, shaving his back in the sink and trying to put his sous chef pants on so we can go out and do fake holds. So during Predator's entrance, we get silence, right? Not just from the audience, because From Singapore Predator doesn't appear to be someone that anyone's interested in the audience, but we get silence from the commentator, which is crazy because a commentator's job is to fill in the gaps, right? To tell the story. But the commentator just does nothing. But then when he comes back, he just starts talking, doesn't finish his sentence, goes quiet again for a second, and then just kind of comes back in with something else.
Out to greet the crowd now, showing his appreciation for the crowd obviously likes this man.
They're like piping in the wrestling commentary for the live crowd, which is crazy. And we can think about this because this match is pretty boring. We can talk about this. So like if you're watching wrestling live in person, you're just watching the performance of the match, right? You have the entrance music and everything, but the TV show is supposed to be the filmed version of the action that's happening in the ring, coupled with the audience reaction to it, right? And then the commentators are like a layer on top of all that are just for the TV audience to kind of like digest everything, or to clarify or whatever, put everything in like a nice package that's for TV. When you take the TV commentary and you pipe it in live to the live performance, you get this crazy like meta thing where what's happening live may indeed be affected by what's being said about it at the same time on commentary. I mean, there's a great reason why that doesn't happen, like why you don't do that, because it's creating this weird feedback loop that doesn't make sense for television. But I say all that to say that I love it.
Oh, yes it is. I have seen and heard of Predator.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have seen and heard of Predator as well. Anyone who goes to the post office and takes a look over and see who the DA is looking for.
Haven't seen Predator wrestle before, but he has been around for quite a while.
Both men extremely large.
Wrong. Could not be more wrong. That's just a lie. Both of these men are not extremely large. The referee towers over both of these guys. Predator is 5'6" if he's an inch. Case in point, moments after Ledge lies on commentary and says both men are extremely large, we see TJ hop off the ropes and just knock Predator down, like almost like it was an accident. I mean, honestly, listen, if you've tuned into this because you want to see great wrestling exhibitions, you're going to be disappointed. I mean, we're not here for that. We're here for arm bars that take too long. We're here for people falling down by accident. And we're here for people getting lost and not knowing what to do and talking about it. There's a certain simplicity to these matches because From Singapore, Predator is very clearly the bad guy. So what's he do for a move? He whips brother off the ropes. It doesn't perform a clothesline or a crossbody or a drop kick. He just grabs dude by the neck, shoves him down to the ground, and starts choking him. That's the art.
Predator receiving a warning from referee Randy Rockman.
We can tell already that From Singapore, Predator is out of ideas because a minute into the match, he's already just kind of like standing there staring at his opponent, his much more experienced and looks like a pro wrestler opponent, and just grabbing his leg and like moving it around and just kind of touching it and being like, is this okay? That's something that you'll notice in every match we watch today. Every single one of them, it seems like no one has an idea of what to do. You had all week to think about it, bud. like just think of like 5 things that you can do at any time and just do that. Or just like yell at the crowd, like anything. But there's so many moments of dudes just like touching each other and kind of being like, and then just kind of nothing happens. But then we get a return of that simplicity that I love so much because the good guy, TJ Steele, we did it. Kind of returns the favor, bounces off the ropes, and just kicks dude right in the chest. I love it. That's a hero. That's a hero Tulsa can believe in, and that's a hero that the world needs.
TJ, of course, making it no secret that he intends to win that belt back, and from what I can see, the gentleman is doing a lot of work towards that.
And a standing suplex.
There's something that you might not notice or might not know to look for. A good tell is someone doing a suplex with the wrong arm. So, for instance, here we have TJ Steele hooking a right arm suplex. I mean, it's not like some necessarily hard and fast rule of like you suck if you don't do it like this, but typically that's with the left arm. So wrestling is everyone gets trained as if they're right-handed. Everything's on the left, right? So like you're working the left arm, you're working the left leg. Now, again, not exclusively. There are plenty of exceptions to this, but that's typically the way. So if you see someone hook on a right arm suplex, even though I will say TJ Steele is one of maybe 2 pro wrestlers on this whole show, he still throws that right arm suplex, which is, again, love it. Bring me every right arm suplex.
Kick to the hamstring. And an elbow drop.
The commentators just kind of don't know what to talk about, and it's understandable. I mean, this level of wrestling is a lot of just the same stuff every match. Very, very basic maneuvers, which is nothing wrong with basics, but we never get past like basically what I would consider like week 2 or 3 of wrestling school, which is my theory about a lot of these guys. I think of the ones who were trained, they probably trained for a few weeks, got the basics, lock up, run the ropes. And it looks like a lot of them maybe forgot how to run the ropes in the meantime, and then just kind of started wrestling. I mean, that would be my guess from a lot of this. I would say if there's another good move in this match, it's this, TJ Steele puts on this really dumb headlock where he leaves his left foot forward, and From Singapore Predator just dumps him right on his head, which beautiful. Love it. Strong style Singapore, baby. From Singapore Predator is gassed, which is wild. Dude is sucking wind, which is crazy because he has done next to nothing this whole match, but he is very clearly wildly out of breath. He has a polite little clothesline in the corner. You can tell he gets the go home call because he really wants to get out of here, and takes one of the most wing and a prayer backdrops I've ever seen. Just kind of like a no form at all. Just flop up in the air and hope I get over and land not on my head, followed by a very similar power slam that I blame From Singapore Predator. I blame From Singapore Predator for that poopy power slam because TJ Steele's doing what he needs to do, but From Singapore Predator is so afraid of doing a flip, I guess, or turning through the air, that he tries to put an arm down on the mat and probably almost, I mean, could have made it worse for himself. He could have landed right on his head. And that's the only time we get a really good look at his, what I can only assume is traditional Singapore face paint. And then we get this weird slow zoom and fade on a Coke logo. So WWE with the sponsorships. We've got Bud. We've got Pepsi. We've got Coca-Cola. We've got probably the local health department. So next match, we get a tag match, and the first guys out are the Outlaws, and I just hate them. I think they suck. One guy's name is Dirty Dan, and the other guy's name is Medium Dan. They suck. They're so bad. But we get this beautiful moment because Dirty Dan is such a little bitch. He starts mouthing off with a local Loki, showing his Texas flag, and brother in the crowd is not having it. He's on a date. He's with his lady or his fella. I have no idea. He's with his person, and he is not taking this shit from Dirty Dan. Dude stands up. Dude in a red sweatshirt. Love him. He's the hero of the evening. Performer of the night is the fan in the red sweatshirt. Dude stands up and gets in Dirty Dan's face, and Dirty Dan backs the fuck down. He does not know what to do. He takes a very clear step back, so much so that plainclothes security, which in this case is like a short guy in a satin jacket, I assume he's security, comes over and kind of just like calms things down. But what does Dirty Dan to do? He just got punked out in front of everyone. He turns right back to the guy and mouths the words to his theme song, God Bless Texas. What else can you do? Dirty Dan, I hate him, but that's a professional move.
Their opponents this evening, wrestling together for the first time as a tag team with a combined weight of 450 pounds. First, Tulsa's own Michael "The Rock" Johnson. His partner this evening from Hollywood, California, JT Rocker.
This is crazy. So not only are we in WWE almost a decade before there was World Wrestling Entertainment, we have WWE, but now we have Michael "The Rock" Johnson. Like, that's a crazy coincidence, right? WWE, we have, the first name's not right, but something "The Rock" Johnson. It's not Dwayne, but Michael, which that's not close to Dwayne, but like still, "The Rock" Johnson. And JT Rocker, who's his partner. And then just based on that information, when these two guys walk out, there'll be no way to know who's who until JT Rocker spins around and we see on his little panties, he's got like a big guitar. I guess I just don't get it. I don't know. Like, first of all, why is he Michael "The Rock" Johnson? Like, what's the rock part? And then JT Rocker, he just, maybe he just plays guitar in his real life, but like, I don't get it. Like, he doesn't look like a rocker. Like, he looks like he's going to wash your car. Like, and I'm not trying to, I mean, that's not pejorative toward car washers. I just mean, like, that's not who I would picture. I wouldn't turn up at the local bar to see like the local rock band and see that guy standing there. I feel like that's the guy who would like take my glasses when I'm done with them. Right. I mean, he doesn't look like a rocker. So why is he the rocker? My guess is this, and I'm going to talk about this because this match really sucks. He is the rocker because he just bought those tights. And then, so they had a guitar on him. He's like, what do I do? But like, dude, he could have been JT Gibson, like a Gibson guitar. He could have been TJ. Is it JT? TJ Rocker? JT. We had JT Steele, TJ Rocker. He could have been TJ Fender. That doesn't really work. Maybe I've come around. TJ Rocker's the only option.
Both men feeling each other out, trying to get the upper hand at the beginning. Collar and elbow tie up, into the ropes.
Of course, the Texas Outlaws, famous for all their chatter.
And a reverse.
This match sucks. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's not a lot to say about it. It's just like, it feels like a handful of guys who watched wrestling tag matches and just kind of tried to do them. You can see them try to do some of the old tropes of tag matches, but they just kind of, nothing really sticks. Like, there's nothing that really, they'll do moves for a while. Maybe the bad guys will try to cheat, but then it doesn't work. And then they just kind of circle and lock up again. Like, you see that a lot in these matches where it's like nothing really gets going. We get an opening sequence over and over, which is, by the way, the smoking gun evidence for the week 3 of wrestling school. These guys learned how to circle and lock up, and then they kind of stopped going. There's also a really cool dynamic happening here where like throughout the show, you can kind of hear Ledge like directing traffic off mic. Like you'll hear him get up to go to the ring and he'll like say something to Jerry Silverado of like, hey, do the intro, or like, hey, wait a second, or whatever. You can kind of hear it off camera. But like there's a moment here where Medium Dan is in the ring and is getting chased around by The Rock and gets scared and goes to the wrong corner and tries to tag the wrong guy and gets chased off. And so Ledge says,
JT Rocker chased Dirty Dan out of the ropes there.
and Jerry Silverado thinks that Ledge made a mistake and accidentally called The Rock Rocker.
That's The Rock. JT Rocker's outside the ring.
Like instead of doing it on camera or on mic rather, instead of doing it on mic, Ledge leans over and explains like, no, he did. I love the pettiness. I love it. I love that it was picked up a little bit.
Usually right in there, full force. Definitely aware of the talent in the other corner. Headlock.
So then there's a lot of like no one knowing what to do. I've talked about that, but there's a moment that if their lips were moving, I would assume would be two guys trying to figure out what to do next. But we get this moment where regular Dan is face to face with Michael the Rock Johnson, and they are just eyes locked, like they are about to make sweet love.
Referee David Adams checking the shoulders.
But what we get instead is the crowd getting behind Michael the Rock Johnson, kind of. And he builds all the way up and he works up out of like he's going to get out of the headlock, puts his arms in the air, but then seemingly doesn't know what to do. And then just nothing happens.
But still in the headlock. And a big right hand.
You know, it's a good time to talk about something I noticed as I was watching a lot of this, because I think in the past, you know, I've been around wrestling my whole life. I started wrestling almost 20 years ago. And I've done a lot of matches. I don't know, several hundred matches. I have no clue how many matches I've done. But I've performed for tens and thousands of hours and other things, you know, stage, film, whatever. I think there was a time in my life where I would watch this and I would watch things like Dirty Dan doing a really shitty chin lock where he's kind of squatting down, like whatever. And just like the crappiness of some of this. And not like these guys. Been like, you suck, you shouldn't be in wrestling, like what's wrong with you? And like that's probably true. I mean, honestly, like this is a dangerous performance art, very dangerous. And the fact that no one seems to get really seriously injured on a lot of these is very fortunate, because, you know, wrestling's a lot of things, but what it is for sure and what's not up for debate is that it's very dangerous. It's incredibly dangerous. And you have to know what you're doing and you have to trust each other. You have to trust that other people know what they're doing. We get big, long moments like big arm bars for no reason and people standing there like it's so excruciating that they can't move their bodies. Dirty Dan is being so destroyed by having his wrist grasped that he just can't move, when really they just don't know what to do. And it was this match specifically where it hit me, where I'm like, man, honestly, well, I don't agree that a lot of these guys should be wrestling, frankly. You know, they're just trying to do something that they probably really love. I mean, honestly, like all these guys, this was in 1995-ish. And so they all grew up probably watching wrestling in the 70s and 80s and certainly in the 90s and just liked it, wanted to do it. Maybe they couldn't afford to go someplace and learn how to do it properly, or maybe they were maybe they thought they knew how to do it. That's entirely possible. For whatever reason, they never really got to go out there and learn how to do this. I find myself, and maybe it's because I'm just getting older. I'm in my late 30s now, and maybe I'm just a little older and weepier about all this, but like, and sympathetic, but like, I don't pity these guys, but like, I kind of feel for them in a weird way. Cause it's like, they're just trying to do something cool, something that they think is cool, and they're not doing a good job, and that's fine. But it's just like, I watch this and I just want them to do well. Like, I don't watch this. When I thought about making this channel and these videos, I wasn't like, yeah, we're really going to shit on some shitty ass shit wrestling, baby. I mean, I guess that's kind of what's happening to some degree, but it doesn't, I'm not being mean spirited about it. I don't feel like disdain for any of these guys. I mean, well, there's one guy later that I definitely feel disdain for, and you'll know him when you see him. But these guys are just trying their best, which I know sounds like pedantic or sounds like I'm just trying to drum up sympathy or whatever. But They really are kind of trying as hard as they can, and they just don't have the ability. They probably don't have anyone telling them how to do things, what they're doing right or wrong, or maybe they're not listening. I just feel like I feel bad for them in a weird way.
And a body slam.
JT's taking a lot of punishment now. I don't know if he'll be able to last through the match.
They do a move, though, that my cousin David and I used to do to get our older cousin Ashley into the pool at one point.
A double belly-to-back suplex.
It's pretty boring and nothing happens until it does, because we get to the finish of this match and I jumped out of my chair for joy for this whole thing, because what happens is cinematic. I don't think it's overselling it for me to say that what happens at the end of this match is cinematic. First of all, from Dirty Dan, we get a move from Dirty Dan that he has no right trying to do. He has absolutely no right trying to give a running gorilla slam press to JT Rocker. So thankfully, JT Rocker does not get paralyzed by this move that Dirty Dan should not be doing. But he's Dirty Dan. He can do what he wants. So they set up. So apparently the Outlaws' finisher seems to be Dirty Dan suplexing regular Dan on top of their opponent, which is fine. That's cool. I mean, I guess that's a finish in I don't think that'd be a finish now, but in 1995, all right. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't really look like much, but we get this beautiful moment because it's like a Renaissance painting. I need someone. I would commission to have this whole scene painted. So in the middle of the ring, we have JT Rocker splayed out. First of all, wide-eyed looking at the guy who's about to do the move to him. He knows what's coming. He's probably terrified. And then on the outside, we have Michael the Rock Johnson. The other side's been going in and out of the ring cheating all night, but Michael the Rock Johnson has done nothing about this and is just watching his partner about to be decimated. And what does he do? He sticks his hand out to get tagged in. Like, dude's all the way across the ring. Like, there's a 0% chance that JT Rocker's tagging you. So as the Outlaws, as both of the Dans, Dan Squared, as they get ready to do the finish, the suplex on top of JT Rocker, JT Rocker apparently starts to fear that he's not lined up properly for this. So he sits up and looks right at them and starts scooting his body backward to like get into a better position. But he goes so far that regular Dan just gets suplexed right on his gut, like right on his stomach. Which is great because JT Rocker also gets both of his forearms. It's a great defense. Gets both of his forearms up for some reason to like totally block the blow. But then, of course, because the Outlaws are probably dicks in real life, regular Dan makes the ref do a 5 count, which is stupid because that just makes the opponent look like shit. Makes Michael the Rock Johnson look like an idiot because he's already making himself look like an idiot on the outside by not coming in. But that match sucked. It was a great example of people who don't understand tag team wrestling, and that's fine. Whatever, it happened. We can't stop it now. It happened, and it's now immortalized.
And the next match.
We get some really world-class passive aggression from Jerry Silverado, where he's announcing the next match, which apparently is the main event.
Will be standing in for Tretch Phillips Jr. will be Running Wolf.
And Running Wolf is filling in for like Trudge Phillips, Trudge Phillips. Let's just say Trudge Phillips. Jerry Silverado feels that it's an important detail to tell the home audience and everyone there live that Trudge Phillips did not show up for the show tonight.
Trudge Phillips did not show up for the show tonight.
We have Running Wolf filling in for that no dirty, no showing, no call, no show, piece of shit, Trudge Phillips.
He'll be facing Scott Summers for the next match.
We also get told that there's someone who apparently seems like a manager. They don't ever really say. This manager named Flamin' Raymond, which first of all, as I'm watching this, as soon as I heard them say that Flamin' Raymond was coming out next, I thought, well, I have to can this whole episode because whatever's about to happen is going to be the most offensive shit, and we can't put this on the internet in the 21st century. I'm just saying, knowing wrestling and knowing 1995 and knowing how different everything was back then, I was really prepared for some wild scene to happen on my screen here. But then Flamin' Raymond is just kind of like a guy. He just comes out and like he's just like a bad guy. He's like I guess he's supposed to be a bad guy manager. He doesn't really do anything except run around and tell everyone to shut up a bunch. But like more importantly, he just gets treated like shit by everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lowest paid man in professional wrestling today, Flamin' Raymond. Obviously a very popular man with you people.
Raymond trying to take control like usual.
He comes out to do commentary, and there's no chair set up for him. There's not even a microphone set up for him.
If you're worried about the accommodations, Flamin' Raymond, I guess you'll have to talk to the producers.
Who are they? Who are they?
And then dude finally sits down in his little like weird chair that's like below the elevated thing where the commentary desk is, and is like asking for help. And Jerry Silverado is like, I don't know what to tell you, bud.
It's not my problem.
Shut up!
I don't want to pile on and join the bullies here, but Flamin' Raymond looks like my fourth grade gym teacher. Flamin' Raymond, he's got a tennis racket, of course. Flamin' Raymond looks like he doesn't deal coke, but he'll do it if you got some. Flamin' Raymond is in this purple windbreaker that's kind of fabulous now. If Flamin' Raymond's still around, and I hope he is, it looks like he wants to sell you NFTs for sure.
From Cherokee, North Carolina, Running Wolf.
So I was immediately nervous when I heard Running Wolf because I figured it was some sort of like cultural appropriation. But I remembered that we're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and there's an increased Native American population. So it seems to me that the guy playing Running Wolf is of Native American descent, which is refreshing for wrestling, being to see what it probably is someone of Native American descent actually playing a Native American character. Ledge. We need to talk about Ledge because Ledge is the real, while I think he's a dick to Flamin' Raymond, Ledge is the real superstar of this whole TV taping because he's very clearly like running everything. And we get a really humanizing moment from him here. And like, this is a TV taping. I don't think a lot of this stuff could have been edited out and may have been. I don't know. This seems a bit like raw footage, but he has this moment where he's introducing the next team and he says the wrong thing. But instead of like going back and doing it again, he just like gets all blushy and like laughs about it.
Introducing his opponent this evening, a former WWE heavyweight champion, weighing standing 6 foot 7 inches tall, weighing in at 250 pounds.
More importantly than that, we get a good look at his notes, which are beautiful. So we can't see what's written on them, but it looks to be like a torn out piece of notebook paper that he's written on. But then that paper was slid into one of those like 3-hole punch plastic sleeves for your trapper keeper in junior high or middle school or whatever, which is beautiful. That's such a wonderful detail about this person, this time, his mentality, because honestly, we're doing the show at a bar and things aren't going super well. So I'm sure some drinks are being spilled. There's a few empties on that desk, I have to assume, and he's trying to keep his notes dry, which is just a beautiful little detail.
From Birmingham, Alabama, ladies and gentlemen, he's accompanied to the ring with his manager, Colonel Tom Portman. Mr. Scott Summers!
I was raised in Oklahoma, picking cotton on a farm. Never had no money, Lord, but we always got along. Hard times today can't match the ones we had, but Saturday night was a party time and the
That's a
good
good
guys
joke. What are you doing here?
I just hate that shit. I hate that shit. Like, I don't care. I don't care if anyone has a problem with this, because if you have a problem with this, you're just wrong. But there is no reason to have a Confederate flag at any point. And I'm not saying like, oh, you're not allowed to own it or whatever. Like, I don't give a shit about that. But like coming out to the ring, and this guy's the good guy, right? This is 1995. So we're almost 130 years removed from the Civil War. And this dickhead's coming out to the ring with a Confederate flag, which is just absolutely ridiculous. And also, wait a minute, we're in Oklahoma. I don't think Oklahoma was a state during the Civil War. So like, what are we saying here? Like, what's Scott Summers, not Cyclops, trying to say here? Like, what's the message? So we have the racist character who's a good guy apparently against the Native American character. I hate that matchup. It makes no sense. And he's a good guy and he's trying to like shake hands with everybody. So I just don't get it. And they've also like piped in his theme song like afterward, like in post or something, like it's way louder. Which actually maybe mystery solved. This isn't raw footage because there's music piped in. So this is the edited version and all that bullshit is in it. I love it. I love it even more. What I don't love is Scott Summers. He's definitely the biggest dickhead of the show, even bigger than Dirty Dan, because even Dirty Dan had enough common sense not to bring that stupid flag out to the ring. But you're in Oklahoma. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Oklahoma was a state until the 20th century, like turn of this 20th century. I'm pretty sure. So like, what is that for? Your heritage? What heritage? Fuck your heritage. Your heritage for what? States' rights? States' rights to do what? Scott Summers, fuck you.
The match begins.
Before we get too much action going ringside, we ought to let you know that tonight Raymond is doing his Ray Charles imitation. Got his sunglasses on there.
And a big body slam to start it out.
So right off the bat, there's only 2 wrestlers on this whole show. One of them was JT Steele, and the other one here is Running Wolf. Running Wolf hits a really good body slam, which is followed by something amazing. Scott Summers lifts Running Wolf up for a body slam, and Running Wolf gives him the post, gives him the right-hand post, does everything right, but Scott Summers is the only person I've ever seen in my entire life to deliver a body slam to someone and very nearly hurt himself more than the person he was trying to slam. It's really quite an accomplishment. If Scott Summers accomplishes anything, it's that he gave the worst body slam in the history of pro wrestling. They mostly spin the match because this is supposed to be a good guy versus good guy match, so there's kind of like not a lot going on here, and not a lot happens. No stakes. I mean, Running Wolf is filling in for that piece of shit, dog shit, no call, no show, and Trudge Phillips. And so it's just kind of nothing. I mean, it's your typical boring affair. Running Wolf's also, I would watch Running Wolf versus JT Steele. I bet that would be good. But no, it sucks. So the commentators just spend the whole time making fun of Flamin' Raymond, being really mean to Flamin' Raymond, like really being like.
They're both losers, though.
Look who's on the baby chair.
Like taking it a little too far at one point. Like at one point, Flamin' Raymond is trying to say something, but then Jerry Silverado just mid-sentence just keeps calling the match like Flamin' Raymond's not talking, and then there's a weird like awkward beat.
You know, Annihilator and Shadowheart, just like I told all you stupid Tulsa Okies.
And Scott Summers powers out from the big man.
Quit interrupting me.
But he just couldn't keep the advantage going.
I don't know what Flamin' Raymond's deal is, but I got your back, buddy. I'm sorry they did this to you, and I hope that your life got better after this, and I hope that Jerry Silverado lost his job. That's Beans. He's a perfect angel. I love him. Maybe. Wait. Yeah, there he is. Hey, buddy. Beans would be Flamin' Raymond's buddy.
What did I just say? Quit interrupting me when I'm trying to say my
Shut up, Raymond. Nobody wants to hear what you've got to say.
I mean, nothing happens in this. And that's, I mean, I guess I could say that a bunch of times in this. There's a really cool moment where we get like a thing that I jumped up like I thought it was the end of the match because first of all, Scott Summers is so out of breath. And again, which is baffling to me. I have definitely been in a wrestling match and been out of breath. I mean, for sure. I've had a bunch of matches. It's definitely happened. It's very physical. But Scott Summers is so out of breath that he hooks on his figure 4 leg lock like 3 minutes into the match, like which is not something that would typically happen. Like it's like 2.5 minutes in, he hooks on his both of his shoulders down. I can't catch my breath. And listen, unless you're like 77 years old doing a pro wrestling match, then I think hooking on 3 minutes in, hooking on the I'm dying lay down figure 4 leg lock, hit the treadmill, bud. Like try it, give it a try. But nothing really happens. But there's an amazing moment that I thought was the finish because Running Wolf hits just a regular snapmare, just like a really basic move. And I swear to God gets the 3 count. And I don't know, I guess there's just some like BS, like grabbing the ropes. But I would have loved, first of all, for Scott Summers to lose this match because he sucks and I think he's a dick. But for Running Wolf to get the 3 count off of such a simple maneuver would be beautiful storytelling. But instead we get Scott Summers standing up and walking toward Running Wolf as if you're having a sleepover and he's your stepdad and he's told you 4 times already that you're being too loud and he's got to get up at 4 and you don't know what it's like because it's summer and you don't know what to do and you're going to have to mow tomorrow. That's all that happens just in Scott Summers standing up because he's so out of breath. He walks over. I'm not even going to say a small package, which is like a roll-up pen. I wouldn't even call it a small package. It's the worst roll-up in the history of wrestling, and it's literally because he, first of all, probably doesn't know how to do it, but also is so out of breath that he just does the shittiest pin of all time and then just rolls out of the ring and walks to the back slowly with the help of his manager. And Running Wolf just left in the ring like, what? Like, what just happened? I love it. Running Wolf, they did you dirty, buddy. I want Running Wolf versus JT Steele. I don't know if that happens, but I need it in my life.
He cheated. He pulled the tights. You know, I don't know much about this old Running Wolf, whatever you want to call him, but I
don't
seen
think
him
Running
cheat.
Wolf's real happy with the decision.
Summers pulled the tights. I seen him pull the tights.
Oh,
You can
Raymond.
review it.
You're an idiot.
So the crazy part about this being an edited video is that like they go into the next show, which will be our next episode, but like on the same video, they go into the next show, like we see the transition. So there's no like, hey guys, thanks for watching. That was your main event, whatever, next time. They just kind of like stop taping. And then Ledge starts rattling off all of the concession stand items and the merchandise stuff that they have for sale, which by the way, they have everything.
And want to remind you that you can get your WWE souvenir mugs, WWE t-shirts, bopper swords, and wrestling figurines at the souvenir booth.
I need it. If anybody ever sees this and has an action figure from World Wrestling Empire, I'll pay you whatever you want for it. I have to see this. But then we get this is not what they wanted to be the main event. But for us, it's the main event. Because the main event for us is Jerry Silverado and Ledge trying to bank a bunch of commercial throws. Like they're just kind of like, you know, hey guys, we'll be right back. And just watching them try to do this is phenomenal because for a lot of reasons. First of all, we get a good look at the WWE mugs, which are terrible. They're like those shitty plastic ones where you could like print something out and like stuff the paper down in, like make your own mug. We get one last look at our 2 heroes here, our 2 complicated anti-heroes on commentary. Jerry Silverado looks like he's cosplaying as Judge Doom. Jerry Silverado looks like when the Ninja Turtles go undercover. Jerry Silverado looks like he borrowed his dad's suit after they buried him.
Stay tuned for more live action from the World Wrestling Empire here at Brady Street Studios. World Wrestling Empire will return right after a few words from our sponsors. Stay tuned for more action from the World Wrestling Empire right after these words.
This is The Ledge with Jerry Silverado and the World Wrestling Empire. We'll be right back after this brief message. This is The Ledge with Jerry Silverado from the World Wrestling Empire. We'll be right back after a brief message from our sponsors. Don't touch that dial. This is the World Wrestling Empire, and we'll be right back. And you're going to get to watch yourself at home. All right, I'm thrilled. I want to see myself on TV because I'm so beautiful. Of course, we know Flamin' Raymond won't be on TV because he's so ugly.
The TV program should start sometime in March.
Ready?
I don't have any kind of catchy catchphrase for the end, so I'll just say, now that's what I call wrestling. Except for Dirty Dan.
He pulled the tights.
Oh,
You can
Raymond.
review it.
You're an idiot.